We come from Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. It's a German political foundation.
Okay.
The idea of Journey to Justice is a documentary film, basically on access to justice.
Okay.
So I think getting more into the film, we really poured out our hearts into the making of this film. And the idea was conceived by our director, who is Dr. Stephanie Rothenberger.
Okay.
And she's almost 2 years old in Kenya. Back in Germany, she went and she found a newspaper.
Okay. We're going to get into that, the details of that.
Okay.
So Benjamin there, and Gladys, how are you related to Journey to Justice?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for having us. So I'm Gladys. I'm currently an intern at Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. I was part of the research team that did background research on towards the making of Journey to Justice. So we went to Lamu, we went to Turkana, found the cases that we needed for Journey to Justice. We did the background research, which led to the creation of the documentary Journey to Justice.
Awesome. Now, it's a documentary, right, about justice, but we need to understand exactly how this came about, and I think that's what you're trying to explain. How did this come about?
Yes. So as I was saying, that this newspaper, it's a German newspaper. She found that a case known as the Owino Uhuru case, and it was about an environmental case where there was lead poisoning, and the communities there that were really affected. And it was a highly reported case, but when she came to Kenya, not so many people had heard about this case. And we thought about, how do we get people to know on issues, especially we have a very robust Bill of Rights, that they can access justice. So the idea was conceived. We went to Lamu and Turkana. So in Lamu, there was a Lapset case, and then in Turkana, there is a Gibe 3 Dam, which in Ethiopia was being constructed. Okay. Both of these communities, they were not informed of this decision by the government to construct these projects. And
what we normally call public participation, people actually being involved in the process itself.
Yes.
Let me come to you, Gladys. Yes. When it comes to this, during your research and exactly going to the ground, because you say you were part of the team that actually did conduct the research, you went to Lamu and other places. When you were going to do this particular research, what exactly were you finding out that actually came and built this up to actually be a documentary?
Okay, so we talked to the local communities, and when I talk about the local communities, in the case of Lamu, we talked to the fishermen, we talked to farmers, we talked to mangrove cutters. Essentially, we were investigating the effects of the Lapset project on them. So we found out that this is their source of livelihood. They are used to fishing, and they catch mangroves, and this is what they use to make economic gain, and this is how they sustain themselves. Essentially, the project was coming as a sort of threat to them. The problem that we found on the ground is that most people were in support of the project. However, they did not support the way the government went about the project, because no public participation had been done. It's almost waking up one morning and finding out the government is doing something without involving you, and this is something that affects you. So that is why we needed to create an avenue for people to know that public participation is important, access to justice is possible, and the government should take the necessary and lawful steps before conducting any environmental projects.
Okay. Now, when it comes to matters